A mother and child forced to take refuge in a school. Just one of several Azerbaijani families who fled here from nearby villages. They're escaping heavy fighting near the border of Nagorno-Karabakh that's torn their lives apart. As we have children, we were forced to come here. But we go back and forth. Even if they destroy our house, we will go back. Over the border in the disputed region of Nagorno-Karabakh, this Armenian father surveys the wreckage. His two sons have been fighting to protect this breakaway territory. He blames Azerbaijan for the devastation. They bomb us every day, 15 to 20 times a day. We can't leave basements, all shops are closed. There's nothing to eat. One Nagorno-Karabakh is officially in Azerbaijan. It's controlled by ethnic Armenian forces. The last 2 weeks have seen the worst fighting since a war over the disputed territory ended in 1994. Russia has been mediating between these two former Soviet states. In the early hours of Saturday morning, a ceasefire was announced.
The Republic of Azerbaijan and the Republic of Armenia are starting substantive negotiations with the aim of achieving a peaceful settlement as soon as possible.
Now there's to be an exchange of prisoners and the repatriation of bodies. But for families like these caught up in this conflict, their biggest dream is for a lasting peace.
Now let's bring in Laurence, the Caucasus Program Director at the London-based peace-building organization Conciliation Resources. Mr. Brewers, thanks for joining me. So it sounds like the ceasefire has been broken before it even got a chance to go into effect, with both sides accusing each other of launching attacks. Does this mean we're back to square one?
Yes, as you said, the ceasefire is supposed to have been in place for 2 hours now, and there are reports that fighting has continued. I think there are a number of factors here. First of all, Russia doesn't have the same leverage that it had 4 years ago, the last time there was a major escalation. At that time, Russia brokered a ceasefire after 4 days, and it held. We're now 13 days in, and the ceasefire is not holding. Azerbaijan, I think, is very concerned about agreeing to a ceasefire and just seeing a refreeze without real movement on the substance of the talks. And I think there's also a paradox of imminent peace talks. Each side may feel that now is the time to make advances to strengthen negotiating positions before real talks resume.
The Azerbaijani president has said that this would be Armenia's, quote, last chance to settle the conflict peacefully. This has been going on for decades. Why is it proving so complicated to solve this dispute?
Well, there's a whole range of different factors, but I think the key issue is that the sides have diametrically opposed positions on the status of Nagorno-Karabakh itself. Now, the statement released by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Russia underlines that substantive talks should take place according to the basic principles. This is a reference to the peace proposal that's been on the table since 2007, and the fact that it's been on the table for so long indicates that there is agreement on a number of background of less pressing secondary issues. But the status of Nagorno-Karabakh is the key sticking point, and we also need more security. The Armenian side has been calling for increased ceasefire monitoring infrastructure, while the Azerbaijani side has been calling for more politics, for more movement on the political issues at stake. And I think this is the dilemma that the mediators face.
Russia and Turkey have been heavily meddling in this conflict. Walk us through what's at stake here for them.
Well, I think this new conflict is indicative of broader global movements away from a unipolar multilateral, liberal international order to a more regionalized one. And there is the prospect that Russia and Turkey may become, the key players as they have done in Syria and Libya, supporting different factions on the ground. So this hasn't been to date a proxy conflict, but there is a risk that may happen. And so I think the choice for Russia essentially is whether to agree to a kind of duopoly with Turkey to manage this conflict, or to remain embedded within a multilateral framework of the Minsk group together with the United States and France.
Laurence Brewers, thanks for your analysis.
Thank you.